This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
And I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great, John.
Cool. Here for another live recording.
Yes, we are actually recording from the Fairmont in San Jose because we are currently getting ready to attend Fun Day. We aren't attending it yet because we're here on Thursday before things start.
Day zero.
Day zero. All we've got to look forward to is the swap meet later tonight and getting our badges as well. But it's like we love this convention, and because we are at an anime and Japanese culture themed convention, it's like we're here to talk about more manga. Yeah, in fact, it's like I guess as I said last time, we were going about the basically I call the hidden treasures of manga, and God knows that with all the manga that's been released over the past decade, there's been some stuff that has sold insanely well, such as every title from Shonen Jump, but there's also been some stuff that just has been overlooked for whatever reason. Just doesn't command the mind share or the presence, or or was published by Dark Horse. So I just want to give some props to some of these titles that I've enjoyed over the years, but you don't really hear people talk about, or just have been forgotten in the shuffle. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I grabbed was just kind of it's actually that originally published in flipped format that reads normally in English terms from left to right instead of Japanese standard from right to left. So start things off. We're gonna, like I said, I've given Dark Horse huge amounts of shit over the years for how they're just not able to properly sell or promote their series, and God knows they're not going to stop until they actually do. But thing is, because a lot of the series that they have published over the years have been really great. Case in point, the series called The Two Faces of Tomorrow. Now, this series was originally published as a 12-issue maxi series. That's right, single issues, from Dark Horse back in the late 90s. I mean, we're talking really old school here. And I would have bought it years ago, but circumstances didn't align, and I just didn't pick it up. But then I found that Dark Horse actually did go out and publish a nice softcover edition of all 12 issues. Now, the story is based on a science fiction novel by James P. Hogan. It was adapted by Yukinobu Hoshino, who did some great hard science fiction tales published under the Viz's title 2001 Nights. Those are recommended as well. I'll probably talk about them in a later podcast too. But Two Faces of Tomorrow is a great a meta concept for science fiction stories, because we're all familiar with stories where basically have a man trying to compete against an evil supercomputer who is basically determined to wipe out all of mankind for because it's kind of a glitch or something. I mean, these stories are old as time itself, or old as the science fiction genre itself. But the Two Faces of Tomorrow takes an interesting meta approach to it, in the sense that in order to as mankind feature goes, and how are we going to advance to the next generation and get evolve from where we are? So we need a fully formed AI who is going to help us along this lines. So, but at the same time, we can't risk this AI just going berserk for whatever reason and wiping us all out. So what we're going to do here is upgrade this AI from this from this one space station, and then provoke it to see what happens. In a sense, we're going to simulate that whole computer gone mad aspect in an arena we can control, just to see what happens, to figure out how we can guard against it actually going crazy in real life terms. It's a great concept, and it's carried out fairly well for the first part of the series, until, well, you can probably guess what happens. The computer goes berserk. The simulation aspect is kind of is abandoned, and people start to die, and the military gets involved, and things go to hell from there. On one hand, yes, you've got it's a nice big helping of old school science fiction tropes. And you've got the square-jawed scientist hero, the woman the uncivil woman who's done wrong by machines, who complicates matters later on, like the blonde love interest, the military guy who knows what he's doing and won't listen to these crazy scientists and all. I mean, it's on one hand, it's like it's kind of if you're familiar with these kind of things, it's kind of fun to see, observe all these tropes. But at the same time, I can realize that they're kind of like predictable and annoying in the same way as well. Still though, it's like it does actually manage to transcend these bits in the end when humanity and the machine are forced to work together for mutual interests, and it's still kind of like really like entertainingly paced for the most part. Hoshino's art is fairly realistic and detailed in a way that like most manga aren't. And it's like I said, it's not your standard fare. I mean, it's hard science fiction, but it's still like really entertainingly paced and told for the most part. Even with its flaws and predictability, I still enjoyed it, and I kind of wish that it got more. It's like a more props so that we'd get more stuff from Hoshino, because he's done some great stuff with 2001 Nights, and if you're really hardcore like his Saber Tiger publication from Viz years ago. But that's not the only. I mean, I could probably do an entire podcast about like underpublished, underappreciated stuff from Dark Horse. But I'm going to limit myself to 2 titles here, because like the other title I want to talk about here is from a creator who is like really talented for the most part. Someone who is really well known in both manga and anime circles. That's Masamune Nishiro. I mean, the man is best known for creating Ghost in the Shell and Appleseed, who both of which franchises have seen like anime movies and TV series that have expanded their popularity immeasurably. I mean, like, to be honest, like I mean, while the Appleseed anime adaptations have been kind of like, as far as I'm concerned, the Ghost in the Shell is kind of the Ghost in the Shell adaptations, both the movies and the TV series, have basically been textbook examples of how to make a series better than the source material. I mean, like I said, I recommend watching the Ghost in the Shell anime much more than reading the manga. But however, that's not the case with his series Dominion. Dominion is a story about Newport City, which has a special tank police division that's regularly sent out to handle high tech crimes. Now, while the first series published by Dark Horse is good fun and all, it's the second series, Conflict 1, No More Noise, that is the really special thing. This is, for my money, this is the best thing I've ever read from Shiro, because it perfectly captures his sociopathic sense of humor, and his tech leanings without being obsessively so. It's basically a story about a single day in the lives of Newport's tank police, led by focused on Leona Ozaki, who is like their hardcore she's not the secretary, but she is like the most hardcore police officer there, who loves being in their mini tank Bonaparte operation, and basically leads the crew in their day-to-day lives. It's like this series. It's a really dense, funny, detailed story about just what goes on in these police officers' lives, and it's got lots of fun stuff from Ozaki just trying to deal with the prefectural higher ups as they try to figure out what's the best for the tank division, her subordinates as they try to deal with their own personal dramas, and also the Puma twins, who are kind of the archetypal anime cat girls who end up getting drafted into the tank police and just causing chaos as things go on. But it also tells a story about how one arms company is basically manipulating this criminal Urushimaru into creating chaos in order to make sure they get the next tank contract with the police. It's a great, dense story, and I just love the level of action in the story that I'm sure communicates through great black and white art. I mean, his there's color used sparingly in the intro, but his black and white art is just great detailed stuff that I wish we'd see more of, rather than just the full color stuff we see him doing now. The guy seems to have fucked off and just done nothing but porno manga for like the last decade or so. Because after like Ghost in the Shell 2, he hasn't done anything substantial. And for fuck's sake, I mean, he promised at the end of Dominion right here that he was going to do like 4 more. I mean, god damn, this is like I loved his like the density of story and the quality of that he invests in the action and the characters and humor for this particular volume. That I wanted to see more, and that overall it's like after Ghost in the Shell 2, you could be forgiven if you didn't want to see anything else from Shiro again. But with Dominion, you read this and you think, man, I wish he'd come back and actually do comics again. So there you go. Anyway, so moving on though, it's like from the sociopathically absurd, we're going to the unabashedly raunchy to a series called Heartbroken Angels from a creator named Masahiko Kikuni. Now, if this name sounds familiar, then you're either a fan of Viz's like a pulp mature manga anthology from all these years ago, or you're a fan of the webcomic Sexy Losers, because after its creator Hard, later known as Clay, talked about this is a series that was big. That was a big influence for him. This is a series that it doesn't really have a it's not a defined protagonist. It's got like a lot of recurring characters, like from the poor and obscure, like father and son who they're poor. They don't have any money, so they just take their pleasures where they can get, and and they take like really ridiculous like sequences where like his father covers his eyes saying, "Hey, guess whose son is your person who loves you most?" But the only reason he's doing this is so he can prevent his son from seeing all these great toys that all the people have, like around the around the neighborhood and all. And there's also these this cute couple who you can see they're so in love, but at the same time the girl, the guy is really perverted. The girl is she's so bashful that they're kind of they're really perverse in the sense that it's she's got this mirror under his on his shoe, so it's I just want to make sure that you don't have any stray pubic hairs coming out of your underwear. And she's like, well, can you see anything? It's this really risque entendre stuff, and but it's also the series is also completely ridiculous in the sense you get bits where there's you have this this fuse being lit, and it's gonna blow up this couple, and she's and the guy is I can't get my pants undone to pee on the fuse, but can you do it? Can you take off your underwear and pee on it? And she's I can. And she's trying to do it, but it's the guy looks he sees her and he just moves his head in front of the stream. It's oh yeah. I mean, this is the kind of humor the series has. It's really perversely creative, and but it's also a ton of fun as well. And Viz published 2 volumes of it from their pulp volume. I can't recall if this is actually all they did in the series, but it's a great raunchy fun for enlightened individuals, and it's something that I wish we could. I get the feeling that there probably would be more, but pulp didn't last long enough. I mean, it was published during the dark ages of manga, back in the days when Viz and Dark Horse ruled the playground, and that a mature reader's manga such as pulp could actually hold some mind share right there. I mean, to tell you, when pulp, when the unflipped era began, when Tokyopop arrived on the scene, pulp basically up and died a quick death, regrettably. But it was a great series for its time, and I mourn its passing. However, if you don't want really raunchy mature reader stuff from Viz back in the old school, there's always Mobile Police Patlabor. Now, I've probably said before that I'm a huge fan of Patlabor, and John, you're a big fan as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and Viz published 2 volumes of it, of the manga. Because things like Patlabor, when it came out, it was basically it was OVA series that then was on anime, but it was also a manga published concurrently by artist Masamu Yuki. And well, normally I'd be annoyed that we're getting like kind of what is essentially an alternate universe version of Pat Labor. This is essentially like the Masami Yuki's soul version of Pat Labor. Because like, well, the anime had like lots of talented people working on it, from Mamoru Oshii to Yutaka Izuguchi to Kazunori Ito to Kemi Takada. Like this is like his sole version of the series, but the charm of Pat Labor is that it's very mutable and adaptable concepts. It's basically like blue collar labor operators. I mean, these are like the police who are basically like assigned to deal with crimes involving laborers. Laborers are basically like mecha. The Pat Labor world is basically like a world like 10 years in our future, where giant mecha have been introduced in order to like handle like like construction duties, but at the same time like there's just like a new class of crime like labor crime involving these laborers, and so the Pat Laborers, patrol laborers, has been introduced in order to like control these things. Pat Labor, the series, focuses on like special vehicles section 2, and their oddball creators and oddball cast members, like in like trying to control outbreak of labor crime. And these 2 volumes basically deal with the formation of special vehicles section 2, and their evolution as police officers as well. It's great, funny stuff, and it's also like great, like nice bit of character development as well. Like, cause like even if you've seen the series, I mean, like the character voices and personalities seem completely authentic, and like I said, I'm always up for seeing more of my favorite character in all of anime, Captain Kiichi Goto, the head of Section 2, because he's a complete devious bastard who has a plan for every situation, and one of the best parts in the first volume is that he leaves his fellow section heads crew out to dry when they're faced against a high-end construction labor who's wreaking havoc in Tokyo's Ueno Park district, and he leaves them out to dry just because hey, the higher ups don't believe that a group filled with oddballs like Section 2 can actually handle this. But by showing that they can actually take out this threat that Section 1 couldn't, it's like, there you go. You've got their justification for handling everything else. And it's a great character-driven perspective for mecha action. And even though there were only 2 volumes published, God, I wish there were more, because I could never get enough Pat Labor. Yeah, right, John?
Ditto. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like I remember like Sankaku Complex did a poll on what series would people most like to see redone as a remake, and Pat Labor topped, because this is a great concept that can be it's infinitely adaptable to any era. I mean, just say it's 10 years in the future, we've got mecha, and there's also a blue collar aspect to it. So you just get this great character driven a mecha perspective, and I love it. I wish we could have gotten more.
Yeah, it's how they adapted to the the mecha, the heavy lifter, literally the heavy lifters.
Yes,
in society.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. But Pat Labor has never been more than a cult by bit of popularity than in the U.S. I mean, we're lucky that apparently I can't remember who was. Someone said they were bringing in they republished the anime series again, but I mean it's good. It's good that they are, because the anime is a series that deserves being continuously in publication, as do the 2 movies. Yeah, there were 3 movies, but don't trust me. Only the first 2 were worth watching. Because like first one, the 2 were directed by the first 2 were directed by Mamoru Oshii and written by Kazunori Ito, who also gave us the Ghost in the Shell movie. What's also worth mentioning is that they also treat the material with a great deal more seriousness than you get from the TV series. Particularly with the first movie, I mean, it's almost a straight up drama, as the Pat Labor crew has to deal with a bunch of rogue laborers, a bunch of rogue laborers that just arise from this construction on the Babylon project, this giant like landfill operation, like in the Tokyo Sea. But and that was good. But the thing is, like Patlabor 2 is special because it represents the perfect extension of Oshii's style. Because the thing is, like, I mean, Oshii is one of the most prominent prominent and famed directors of anime for his work on Ghost in the Shell. But the thing is, he not only has he done Ghost in the Shell, he's done this. He did the sequel movie, which basically amplified the first movie's strengths and weaknesses. He did the Skycrawlers, which was unfortunately more Mystery Science Theaterable than anything else. But he also had lots of work on Urusei Yatsura, Muruka Takahashi's great alien romance series. And I think that the second movie, Beautiful Dreamer, is his best work. Patlabor 2 represents the most perfect extension of his style in terms of, just thoughtfulness and action. It's like in anime. It's like it doesn't have the stylistic excesses that Ghost in the Shell has, and it's also got some great scenes where like the tension is derived from just like nothing happening. It's just a great point where Tokyo they're fearing this attack on Tokyo Bay, but they can't actually track the fighters on the screen, and you're just like wondering what's going on here. It's like it's beautiful in the way that it generates tension for it. It's like no one knows what's going on for this particular scene. In fact, Patlabor 2 is the best post 9/11 movie. Only it was made in 1993.
Exactly.
Yes, because it's basically it hinges upon a terrorist attack on a bridge in Tokyo, and Special Vehicles Section 2's response to it. I mean, it's like it's got one of my favorite moments from the series in the sense that like Captain Goto, I mean, who is never ever upset about anything. I mean, he's just like a cool, calm, collected person and everything. But in Patlabor 2, he actually completely loses it in one scene when his superiors don't recognize that shit is getting real in Tokyo. So it's a great movie, and I've completely like lost the thread from talking about manga here. But the Patlabor.
But it's worth mentioning. I think it's worth mentioning just because it helps color the manga you're talking about.
Yes.
And just based on the level of terrorism that is written into that second movie. You really should watch it. It's definitely noteworthy for this podcast. Absolutely.
Yes, I mean, I swear to God, like Patlabor 2, it's like it's just scary how much more relevant this film has gotten over the years.
What's interesting is that even post 9/11, but it's also post sarin gas attack, and there were some serious questions that had to be answered about that.
I think it came out pre-sarin gas attack.
Yeah, it's pre-sarin gas attack. When sarin gas attack happened in Japan in the subways, if you didn't know, it's a cult. I forget the name of the cult. They had a sarin gas.
Yeah, Ryun Shoko or something like that.
Yeah, so essentially, but this movie, came out before that, and I believe the police even questioned him. The authorities questioned it. They brought him in and they asked him. I don't know if it was just as a consultant or whatever, because it was eerily similar to one of the one of the things that you see in the movie.
Yeah, but here's the craziest bit. Why I think it's like the scariest bit about why Patlabor 2 is more relevant today than it is now. Because there's this moment. No, because the thing is like. There's this moment when Goto finds out that the American Navy is going to basically show up. It's going to intercede. America's going to show up and take care of business because Japan can't do it. And when I first saw this movie back in the late '90s, I thought, oh no, there's no way America would do that. But post 9/11, I was like, holy shit! I can actually believe that.
The world
now
has changed.
Yeah, I mean it's scary how much more relevant Patlabor 2 has got over the years.
But that is the recommendation, I mean,
yes,
it's a good recommendation to add to the manga that you're reviewing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, it may sound like this is like medicine, like this is like we're talking about current events, personal political, but the Patlabor 2 is like it's not. I swear to God, it's great, compelling drama, and it's a great capstone to the series. I mean, it's like there was a third movie made. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, that was a Jedi mind trick for you guys.
The only best part, only good part of the third movie were the shorts they hid for it.
Yeah, that was true.
Okay, we want to wrap this up on a positive note here, and I want to talk about something like positive called that we're going back to like just like short like quirky otaku stuff. This is a series called Maniac Road. This whole like DR Master. DR Master, later known as Comics One, is no longer with us, and this series is actually a really otaku centric title for its time. That let's see, it was published. Let's see, back in first edition, July 2004. So it's basically focuses on a otaku named Takezo, who basically winds up falling in with these three sisters, the older perfect sensible minded Haruna, the younger anti-otaku sportsman-like Aoba, and the youngest Lolita, most hardcore otaku fighter game girl of them all, Isuzu. As he winds up falling in with them, basically helping their store not only get out of bankruptcy and debt, but also turning into like the most impressive otaku store in Akihabara. Now, this series is both refreshing and irritating in equal measure. As I reread it nowadays, because it presents what I like to believe is a really positive, refreshing view of otaku. In the sense that it's like, Takezo, yes, he's hardcore and all, but at the same time, he's productive. Like he wants to make the store the girls run into a great otaku paradise. He's not just a consumer. He is productive. He wants to just make things create. He's a creator. He wants to make things that otaku will respect and all, and that's what I appreciate. But at the same time, though, I mean, it's a relentlessly positive version of otaku in the sense that we know that all otaku aren't necessarily like good people, in the sense that they're the kind who will buy like hundreds of copies of AKB48's latest CD and all, and also just rant on their favorite seiyuu or idol singers by status just because she's got a boyfriend and all. Like, well, shit, man. It's like, of course she's gonna get a real boyfriend. What, you thought you were gonna be your boyfriend? Not fucking happening, guy. But yeah, offers like it's a nice, fun, almost generally refreshing perspective on otaku, like kind of the ideal version that I hope they would keep. But at the same time, I can't help but think that Takezo would look at today's otaku and just think that their relentless feeling about them is just kind of more annoying than anything else. I mean, there are like lots of fun like bits, such as their trip to Kaliket, and like how Takezo has to manage his group's expectations once their Dodichi is revealed it was going to be arriving late because they submitted at the very last minute, and the people and the printers have encountered traffic problems in the city, and that's bad. But also, did you also get like bits where he helps run a tabletop RPG game, and things go kind of like awry in interesting fashion. And also, like, it's also worth noting that their main antagonist, like the head of like the otaku the otaku centric store of Cauliflower. So he's like, yeah, even though he's meant as the antagonist, like it's also kind of funny because he's kind of like he's also like presented as kind of an even weirder otaku than them, because like while Takezo shows up as this cosplay as this one as this one character for this fighting game called Cosmic Mask. It's like, oh, and then and the head of Cauliflower goes, oh yeah, oh wham, like Cosmic Mask RX, the secret, super secret character from that fighting game you're cosplaying as. I mean, it's like it's hard to hate an antagonist who's even more of a hardcore, ridiculous otaku than the main character. So yeah, there. It's like Maniac Road. Like I said, it's not the it's not like a really hard like scary in-depth profile of otaku, but it's kind of like the vision of otaku that I kind of wish that most otaku in Japan would conform to. It's a lot of it's fun, it's obscure, but here's the thing: like, all of these series, at least according to Amazon, are either still in print because Dark Horse, even they're shit at getting their series published, they're still great at keeping things in print, or B, some of they're completely so obscure that their resale value is within the cents or dollars on Amazon. So there you go. All the stuff I talked about here, you can still easily find on Amazon, or even if you're just going to your local convention, like say Find Me, like right now. It's like we're going to, like John and I will be hitting up the swap meet later tonight to see if what shit we can get. I'm hoping I can find great copies of Warriors Orochi 3 for the Wii U, or like Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends for less than $10. But hey, it's like hope springs eternal and all with that. So that being said, John, anything to add?
Lots of bad. No. No bad. No bad. Not this time.
Okay. Well, on that note, it's like I appreciate you for sticking with me for as long as this podcast has run, because God knows I'm sure this has probably run more than 30 minutes, maybe even 40. But yeah, it's like this. I mean, we may even there was one title I was planning on talking about, but talking about these 5 right here was scary enough. But hey, like I said, there's enough obscure manga titles that I'm sure I can do like a second, or third, or fourth like Hidden Treasures of Manga on podcast, and I'm sure you'll be getting that. Maybe even next year when we go to Find Me again.
All right, and we'll see you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Laters.